everybody. How you doing? Um, just jamming to a little bit of Pharrell. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about starting your own company. And I'm talking about the administrative end, all those little details that you're going to tie up. What I'm going to talk to you specifically about is the state of Florida. And so, anybody who's in Florida, you're in luck. If you are not in Florida, you need to do a little bit of homework. And remember, I'm an entrepreneur and I learned all this stuff on my own. And so, please, please, please make sure you do your research in your state, and I hope this helps you. So, for the state of Florida, we have 7 companies right now, and we're constantly acquiring companies and looking for new ones so that we can make sure that we're diversifying our portfolio of income. It's myself and my husband who are the owners of all of our companies. We love working together. We drive each other absolutely bonkers. But we've been married for 15 years, and we know that God called us to work together because we have completely different skill sets. And so that's why we bump heads. But we also are able to appreciate the differences that we have. So first and foremost, when you are forming a company, the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you choose what type of company you would want it to be. I always recommend any real estate that we're doing or any company that we're starting that it's standalone in an LLC. So anytime you buy even one piece of property, one rental apartment, one commercial property, one startup business, is we go on to sunbiz.org for Florida. Do not Google how to start a company in Florida, because you're going to get 5 million companies that are trying to charge you an upcharge to do exactly what I'm teaching you to do. So basically what you're going to do, and I will put the links in the chat, you're going to go to sunbiz.org. And when you go to Sunbiz, and when I get more tech savvy, I'll be able to screen share with you and put all this on there. And you're basically just going to go start a business, and you have to choose the type of business that you want to start. And when you're setting up that LLC, you have to choose the principal address of the business, and this is going to be public record. So make sure that you're comfortable with putting the addresses on there. In the beginning, we had to have our home address because we were working from home. Eventually, for some of our companies, we put a PO box. So opening a PO box is really simple. You go to like a UPS store or one of the US post office or one of those mailbox places, and you just get a PO box. And then some of your states will actually require physical address versus a PO box. So that may restrict you. And I would recommend that if you have somebody that has their own business, in order to protect your home, you can just ask somebody, hey, could you give me a mailbox in your business? Suite A, Suite 1, whatever it is. For the post office, all that's really going to matter is that they find the address. And as long as it's addressed to you, you could say, like right now we work in a building, and we rent a space within that building in one of our other locations. And so we just use that as a primary location. And anytime we mail something to ourselves, we put care of, ABC Logistics, and then it has our company name under it. So you can do that. Pay them a little bit of something in rent, or just ask them to do it for you as a favor. So on there, you're going to put the principal address of the business. You're going to also put the mailing address of the business. And then you're going to put the primary owners. In the state of Florida, you have to put your own one primary owner. That is different than your shareholder agreement. We can talk about that a little bit later on, but I'll just touch on the details of it. For all of our companies, it's either myself or my husband is the principal owner on it. And then in the state of Florida, you have to choose managers. And you have one principal, and then you have 2 managers in my case, because it's me and my husband. And I would recommend, don't put anybody's name on your business who you don't know intimately well, or doesn't contribute a significant amount of knowledge or time to your business. It's just not worth it. I would really encourage you to either own your business with your partner, spouse, significant other, or somebody that's not a friend. You can do a shareholder agreement with that person if you really, really need it, but I'm a big, big advocate of owning your business on your own. So once you set up the business there, you get your articles of incorporation for your business. And that's really the piece of paper that you're going to need anytime that you're doing any banking type of things. If you're applying for grants or loans, they need proof that you're a business. And then the next thing that you're going to do is every year through Sunbiz, you have to file an annual report. So make sure the email address that you put on there is one that you're checking on a regular basis. And it's like $130 in the state of Florida for the filing fee for Sunbiz. It's worth it, especially if you have a property. And why we choose limited liability corporations is because that organization stands alone. And if something should happen, so let's say you own a rental property and somebody slips and falls in the property, that person can only sue you for the value of what is within that entity of that LLC. Okay, so this is critically important. If you buy a rental property, I don't care what it is, don't put it under your own personal name, because then should something happen, your entire wealth is at risk. So I would just really encourage you to take the time to do that paperwork. Second side of that is, as soon as you have your articles of incorporation, you get an FEIN number. So this is a federal employer identification number. All you have to do is go to irs.gov, or you can Google FEIN number application, and literally on the spot, you fill in the information on your company, your mailing address, the owner's information, and it will, like a magical machine, spit out your EIN number. Isn't that magical? Why do people not do this? So you just go online to the IRS website, make sure that you save all these files in a very, on your Google Drive. We use Google Drive, and put it under company documents, and then under there, put your EIN, the document that the IRS is going to spit out to you. Do the Sunbiz. Make sure you put your articles of incorporation on there. And then you're going to take that EIN number and you're going to go to your bank and you're going to open a checking account for your business. Yes, you need to have a checking account for every single one of your businesses. So if you have ABC Rental LLC, you're going to have an article of incorporation for them, you're going to have an EIN number for them, and you are going to have a checking account for them. You can set up a savings account if you want to, but eventually I'll talk to you guys a little bit about something that we're doing. It's called Profit First, and it's related to your banking accounts. We're just getting into it. It's by Mike Michalowicz. It's this awesome, awesome book. If you haven't read it, please make sure that you take a listen, because it's taught me a lot, and I'll talk about it in another session. But just make sure that you at least at a minimum have one account. And then with that account, you should get checks because you're going to need to pay bills, presumably from your company. You'll get a debit card. And then I also recommend opening a credit card. We personally use Chase just because it's our central bank. But make sure pretty much any bank will give you a credit card. Chase uses an Ink card, and they'll usually give you $250 and a percentage cash back. We use a guy called the Points Guy that he recommends credit card deals. So just look at what you need. We use Capital One a lot. The only thing with Capital One that we've experienced is that when it's a new company, they won't give you that much credit on the account, whereas your bank knows your history a little bit more, so they'll give us more. So like one of our companies that we recently opened, our bank gave us $25,000 on the credit card immediately, and Capital One gave us $2,000. So that didn't serve our business very well. We still got both of the cards, and then we just pressure Capital One to be giving us more credit based on our performance on the cards. So these are the core things that you as a business owner have to start up. And then it's really important that you get your QuickBooks set up, whether you use FreshBooks, QuickBooks, something like that. Make sure that you're keeping all of your expenses and your profits for that company. With simple companies, you can do it in Excel with your bank statements. I would just make sure that you're looking at it monthly. When you have more complicated businesses, I would get a financial software. It's not that much money. I think it's like 20 to 30 bucks a month for it, but it's definitely worth the technology because it will sync with your bank accounts, it'll sync with your credit card, and then it will start to automatically categorize things. So it'll learn that something's your cost of goods sold or something is your tax expenses. And then the other two things that you have to, as you're setting up your company, that you should start thinking about is if you're a reseller, so if you're buying a product, you should never be paying tax on that product. You should be categorized as a reseller. And when you sell the product, then that's when you charge tax on it. So I'll give you an example. We have a signage company. So if we buy hardware for a banner, we are buying it with our reseller certificate within the state of Florida, meaning we don't pay, if we buy the hardware for $10, we don't pay any sales tax on it for that $10. And this applies to Costco. This applies to a lot of different things. All you have to do is take your reseller certificate and present it. It's on my Amazon account. So if there's any items that I'm reselling, a simple one is like a box. Like if I am buying a box and tape, I'm not going to pay taxes on that because in theory I'm charging for that product when I'm passing it on to my customers, so I shouldn't pay sales tax on it. That's a little loophole, but for us, we do it that way. Another thing would be like a tablecloth. If, God forbid, at the last minute I ran out of black tablecloths and we need to print one, then I'll buy one on Amazon, but I'll make sure it's on my reseller account so I don't pay taxes. But then when I sell that banner or I sell that tablecloth to the client for $100, God only knows, I wish my markup was, 100%, well, 10 times for every product that I sell. But let's say we bought it for $10, we sell it for $100, then that customer is going to be paying the sales tax for whatever the retail price is. That's a time when sales tax. Don't make the mistake of paying sales tax 2 times. So if you're going to Costco and you're buying water bottles and you're going to sell those water bottles in your shop that you have, your convenience store, you shouldn't be paying sales tax to Costco and then paying sales tax again for your customer. So the way that you get set up with a reseller is that you go to your state and you go to your Florida sales tax website. And all you have to do is present all of your company information that you've already gotten, set up your online account. Depending on the state that you're in, or you can do it automatically online, or they will email you or physically mail you your login information. Florida specifically, I think if I remember correctly, the last time I do is they physically mail you your logins to the online platform. And then when you go on there, you will report your sales tax, and we'll talk about that at a later time. It's horrific, but you got to do it. And it's important to your business that you learn how to do it, that you don't pay someone else to do it. You need to understand how to do this as a business owner. It's so important. Eventually, when you're big enough, you can hire people to do it. But if you don't have it documented in a standard operating procedure on how you do all these things, you're toast, okay? Because when your bookkeeper leaves you or somebody leaves you out in the dry, the state tax people don't care about that. It's your responsibility. So make sure you learn it. So you're going to go onto the tax website and you're going to get your reseller certificate and you're going to get your logins so you can pay your sales tax. Typically, when you're set up as a new company, you will just do quarterly reportings for your sales tax. It's a beautiful thing. You only have to do it 4 times a year, but your books have to be clean enough so that you have record of what you sold item for. So that $100 banner, you have to have proof. You have to have that total to put the $100 in, and then to be the $7 that you charge for the tax for the 7% like it is in Florida. And then the next bit is around if you get enough revenue that you start the state notices, then they're going to ask you to start filing monthly. And you just got to put it on your calendar between the 1st and the 15th. I usually do the 10th of the month because the deadline's around the 15th. Between the 1st and the 10th, I just make sure I go back and look at the previous month. So now it's the 23rd, so I got about 7 more days until the beginning of July. And I usually do it between the 1st and the 5th, is I'll go back, look at June, I'll calculate what my sales tax were, and then report it. And the same is also true for any commercial rentals that you have. You have to report those in most states, sales tax. So I got to go in, and I do it myself for all of our businesses. I've tried to outsource it, and somebody always messes it up, and I always get a $50 fine in the mail. It's not worth it. It takes me 2 minutes. I have all my logins saved. I could do it in my sleep. I know what the amounts are. So eventually one day I'll outsource this, but right now it's just such an easy thing that takes me, I would say, 15 minutes every month, and it's worth it to know that it's done correctly. So basically I've covered the setup of your business through your state, the setup of your business through the federal government to get your EIN. And I use Google Contacts, and I keep all of my EIN numbers in my in a Google Contact. And so anytime I need one, I just search EIN and it's always there. And I use a platform. There's a couple platforms. One's called LastPass. There's another one called OnePass. As you guys start acquiring multiple businesses, you're going to need to remember all these logins for the tax websites. So make sure you keep your files organized, make sure you keep your passwords organized, and make sure you keep record of your EIN numbers because you're going to need to refer to it a lot. Then you get your bank account set up at your bank after you have your EIN, and then you're going to get your state taxes set up. And then you're going to start your QuickBooks, hopefully, and then you're going to start making money and selling things. So we have, just to remind you guys, we have a portfolio of real estate. We have companies that sell services. We have companies that sell items, widgets, you can say. So if you have any questions on anything related to your business, please feel free to shoot me an email, barbara@olainc.com. And I think I have like 7 emails. I don't really know. I try and check them all on a regular basis. So if you have any questions, shoot me a comment down below and ask away, and I'll do my best. Remember, I'm not a legal professional expert. I'm just an entrepreneur hustling it out there, trying to make some money. And I hope this helps you. Thank you.
Have a great day.